Hello and welcome to another episode. I'm talking about Microsoft again. This time, what was I telling you guys? They're going digital. Look, they're already doing the Xcloud on the Game Pass Ultimate, which means you can play AAA games pretty much in any device you have as long as you have good internet connectivity. So, Microsoft is focusing on those platforms more than on the hardware platforms from what I'm seeing. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to abandon it, but it sure does mean that their strategy is going straight to digital only in the next generation or even quicker. From what I'm seeing, they might be able to dethrone the market. Well, actually, not dethrone it, but I do see them exceeding to the point where people will prefer more the digital world where all the hardware is run by the servers and you just play the actual game or whatever resolution you want to play, whatever phone and service of internet you have to be able to play at whatever resolution you want it. Assuming that's an option in the near future. If not, you'll probably see it at the near future of the next generation of consoles, assuming there is a next generation of consoles. I presume that we're going to be seeing Sony do the same thing in the middle of this generation that's coming, the PS5 generation. They're gonna be doing a streaming like service for games well, technically they already have one, but they're gonna be more. They'll be pushing it more, and you'll be able to see actual like AAA titles of that generation coming in to that platform. So my theory is for those people that like hardware, they're still the hardware, physical copies, you still have that option. For those that like the digital era where everything's literally in your pocket, that's where they're going. It's a bigger market. So they soon, boom. Sony's going to be doing that. Microsoft's going to be doing that. Probably Nintendo as well. That's what they're doing, the handheld thing. And it's working out for them. But there will be a time where the other two services will outperform so well that Nintendo will have to stop doing hardware and go straight to the all digital world as well. The only hardware you'll probably see will be accessories like controllers, Bluetooth headsets, battery packs, extended battery packs for your phone with controller. A combination of those type of items. Maybe something to cool down the phone if you're playing for too long. So a fan, water cooling, maybe, I don't know. I mean, the sky's the limit at that point, but that's the digital world I'm seeing. Everything's going to be digital. However, I don't think the next generation of consoles may even have a device other than accessories. You may be only seeing an app either to a smart TV or I don't think they'll go into the TV market, but maybe a smart monitor with those features. I doubt it, but you never know. It all depends where the market flows. What I'm seeing is all going to be in apps, which in a way is cool, but in a way it's not really cool. But because if something happens and the internet is all down, then people will be bored out of their minds because all their stuff is on their phone and the stuff they need to access for games are run through clouds and you don't have the internet, so you can't play games. The only games you'll be able to play is probably the smaller marketplace where you can still download games like well, maybe even that market will change as well. Actually, they'll be probably pushing heavier AAA titles, and they might even try to accidentally may even push like one of the competitors out of that field almost completely, or if not, like waking them up to the point where they're investing heavily on servers to handle either their own type of platform of streaming games to you on any device, or they will try to do the cloud thing for the streaming giants like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo in relation to like streaming your games. And the only one I could think of that was trying to do that ahead of the curve was in terms of like streaming games was I think called XLive or Lives something. At one point, I think even AT&T did a funding of it or purchased a percentage of the company. It didn't do so well. First of all, they did have some pretty good games that allow you to give you like 30 minutes of free to play, and then after that you have to pay like $10 a month for their servers, and then on top of that you pay for the game. And since it was such an early thing, they were way ahead of their time. Really, not a lot of people were seeing that as feasible for them because that back then there was only a few smartphones out there, and not a lot of people were using them because it was like 1G or 2G at the time, so it was horrible. Even 3G wouldn't help much for their services because I think they were running games at 720p or 1080p, either 30 to 60 frames per second. It was definitely playable. Those games look very nice. It's just that it was quite expensive at the time. Now it doesn't seem that expensive, and if they would have done that now before Microsoft did their Game Pass, they might have a good footing. They might have been purchased out, and probably the person that would have purchased them would have been, if anything, Google, since they've been planning on doing the services for games on pretty much their YouTube platform and other platforms. As long as you had any other services, I guess you'll be able to play the game and good internet, of course. So I'm assuming they would have purchased that company, especially if it was already getting good traction, and then with their expertise and Google's search engine empire, it would have been quite successful for them to actually done it that way. But unfortunately, the company was way too ahead of their time. The infrastructure wasn't there. The market was pretty expensive at the time, and people were more accustomed and to the whole platform of digital, non-digital content. So it was like steal Blu-rays, steal DVDs, going to theaters. Well, scratch that one. Getting copies of your games through probably only through like game. Well, I mean, Hollywood Video was probably still alive, and Game Crazy. Let's see, what was the other one? EB Games was probably still alive too. GameStop and stuff like that. So those, and Target, Walmart, blah blah blah. You could have gotten your games that way still. Physical copies, which is more like, oh, I purchased something, I own it, I have it physically, and so forth. People still value that more. Now they value more the content than the actual physicalness of the product. They only value the content. So that's where we're switching at, and Microsoft is seeing this, and they're pretty much sweetening the pot for people to actually start jumping in, especially since now you can play really heavy graphic games on the go on your smartphone, as long as you have good internet. I guess you would have to have 5G or like the best 4G network. The tower's like right next to you, or something. I don't know. But they would have to have good internet nonetheless to be able to play games, specifically a certain resolutions and frames per second. But what do you guys think? Is this the path you all seen as well? Comment below. Please share, subscribe. Have more things to talk about later. One of them will be about like why I want a shipping container home. I'm actually designing it. It might be a long video, by the way, but nonetheless, you guys should check it out. Subscribe, comment, like. Let me know what you want to hear, what you want me to do, what kind of animations, and then I'll work on that. Thank you and goodbye. See you next time.